Hello everyone and welcome back to Cities by Steven. You're talking to Steven. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button, get that bell notification on too so you don't miss out on a video. Welcome back to the channel where last time we had our Halloween special. It was on Monday and what a fun build that was. It was a ghost town build. Yes, a ghost town, you know, ghosts, Halloween. It was a really fun build. Lots of regional lore for the series as well, which was a lot of fun. We had the ghost town, we had some haunted mines, we had some creepy caves, and we had a haunted house and a haunted lake. It was a lot of fun. If you missed it, there will be a card in the right at the top right hand corner relatively soon that will link you to the video. So what's in store for today's video? Well, a little while ago I put a post out on the community posts section of this channel asking you what kind of one-off videos would you like to see, and actually the landfill was the one that won, and we did that the other day. And what do I mean by one-off builds? Well, you know, builds that take one episode, because there's lots of builds like cities, for example, or towns that take quite a long time to do. You know, you have to develop them, we have to wait for them to grow, we have to see how transit reacts, we have to adjust to different regional values, and there, you know, there's different priority lists on the size of things, like the airport, for example. I can't really do anything out in that area until I get the airport there, because I need to know, you know, the size of it. So one of the other options of that original community post asking you about one-off videos was non-Industries DLC's farms. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be working out around Brownsville Crossing, and we're going to be adding in non-Industries DLC farms. So what does that mean? Well, it means we're basically just going to detail up an entire region of the map on making it look like there's farms. But are they actually going to function like they do in the Industries DLC? No, they're not. They probably will have very little function for the actual size of land that we're actually going to use if we're talking about purely game mechanics. Now, could we make them Industries DLC's farms everywhere? Yeah, we totally could, but that's really expensive. It's a lot of product. We're going to flood the market with crops, and you know, I'm not entirely interested in that. Are we going to use Industries DLC's assets? Maybe in one or two of the farms will include some of the assets. Like I can definitely see some of the like outbuildings being really useful for these builds. So that's what we'll do. But along with that, we have a very high residential demand right now. And oftentimes when there's farms close to larger towns, larger cities, is we see that land get bought up and sold to developers. And we're going to play that up in this episode as well. And then there's also infrastructure challenges we're going to deal with, and some infrastructure planning in that area. And then we might even do a farming town, depending on how things go. So let's hop out. Here's the spooky ghost town. Ooh, we have the original train station that would have hauled goods from the mine, the creepy mine, that's haunted, and it's still running apparently. There's smoke coming out of the mines. We have the old church, we have some of the old hotels, we got some destroyed buildings, we have, you know, a lot of features. These are from the Seaside Resorts content creator pack, and yeah, that was a really fun build. Got a bit of a waterfront over here, and then we have the haunted house with some lore along Wilson Lake here. So let's swing all the way down, take the highway here, we'll come past the ore industry, underneath or over top of the bridge, past our water treatment plant, past our Amazon facility, and you know what, we probably should have got off of that last highway, but let's get off here. So we'll swing off right down this cutoff right here. We'll get to this intersection, and ta-da, we are in kind of the area where we'll be working. So we have all these plots of land that have kind of been sectioned off for a long time. And how did we section them off? Well, there was lots of these trees in these formations that we didn't do ourselves. It was here with the map, when we got the map. So we basically built roads alongside of the trees, saying that the trees are marking land. And it's also close to the landfill. Now, I've actually changed a few things up in the landfill. There's a suggestion to add in a fire station and a fire tower, along with some more industry areas. And these ones are all empty plots of land, which is perfect. Although there's some cows here. I don't know if we should have some cows in this area. And then on top of that, something that I realized after watching it back is we should have done like a manual landfill. So that's what this is. I just added it in off camera. Yeah, just lifting the earth up, detailing it a little bit, adding some textures, adding some growth. Maybe they don't use it anymore, and they have a more sophisticated area, so they've just kind of let this go fallow. But there's also these carports here where people used to be able to park and then bring in their waste, or maybe the garbage trucks park in there or something like that. But you often see those kind of shelters in landfill areas. So yeah, so let's get started. What's the first thing we're going to do? Well, since we have a lot of residential demand, it's pretty high. What I'm thinking about doing is focusing the first kind of plot of land on residential area. So what part of land would get sold first to a developer? Well, this highway came through and was probably, we can kind of see where this road would have gone. Same with this one. And I'm sure that there was at some point a road that kind of connected this up, and this was once a square way before the highway came in. So the province probably bought this up, built the highway through here, or maybe it was the feds. And then the farmer would have probably had just their original slot of land. Maybe they owned this plot as well or something like that, and they sold this one off. And maybe with whatever land was left over, they said, let's just sell it to a developer. They're already kind of developing up in this area, so let's extend our sale point out to here, and let's get a bit of a residential build right in here. Just really simple, really basic, just suburbs. But there's a really cool opportunity to get a road underneath the highway here, so let's do that first. And this road could connect into a future development over on this side as well. So we could also do this one as well. So why don't we do it at the same time? We'll put this one under. Maybe this one will go over. Yeah, let's go over in this one and then under on this one. Okay, so yeah, there we go. We got the bridge and we got the tunnel. Let's just change up this intersection really quickly. It's going to be important down the road for us to do anyways. Okay, so there we go. We got lights on this one. Makes sense to have lights. And yes, this is rather steep, but maybe we could, ban trucks on it or something like that, or something. We could also now connect this one up over here, which, kind of makes sense to do. This will really increase the connectivity of the area. And let's see, yeah, we're not exactly in a proper grid here, but that's okay. And we definitely need to lower this section in here. So let's see. So there's one node there. There's one node there. So let's just bring this one a bit closer. Grab both of them. And we don't need to do much to get it to a proper height. So we'll just lower it to about right there. And we should be good. We don't need to do anything else really with that. So yeah, very smooth. Let's just clean up the slopes. All right, so we're talking about this area. Definitely a key point of this is just going to be housing. So let's run a road right down here like this. We'll leave this side open because this is a pretty trafficked area. It makes sense. It looks like we have these houses as rather large lots, so we can do that. Let's bring the district into here. So this is just classic Brownsville. So we'll bring this one right down into here and over, and we'll just kind of envelop this slot of land. Right in here, it's just going to remain fallow. Sometimes you see like a park in this area. Sometimes there's like some trails. Usually though, it's just fallow land. It's usually city land. Sometimes they have like city services buildings inside of these interchanges, especially these massive ones. Okay, so let's run a couple roads in here. I think they would probably have cleared out the trees though, right? It would make sense to do that. So let's clear out the trees, and let's just clear them all out, and we'll place them back in when we're done. So we're going to try and follow a similar model to this side, because we'll say that it's the same developer that did it, probably at the same time even as well. So why don't we do this in a speed through? All right. Yeah, sorry, I had to redo that, but I'm really keen on keeping the grids as tight as they possibly can be. So when there were some issues, I had to make sure that they didn't stick. So we'll put these trees back. Awesome. Actually, I probably shouldn't have done that. Okay, so let's just fill this up with residential. Nothing too fancy. Do we even need a school in here? Well, there's one school in here. Although I don't think we do. We have one school in all of Brownsville. They get bussed into the city to do high school. If we look at high school coverage, it's pretty green. Oh, that's university. High school, yeah, so there isn't, but I think we're going to get a high school over here as well. So that would kind of fill the needs of Brownsville. I just don't see this town realistically having a high school in it. So we'll stick with the theme of this area. And you know what? It's always good to have areas that don't have high schools, in my opinion, in City Skylines. So let's just get a couple of these ones right in here. I think that'll work. And I'm basically just going to be picky with the grids, but also maximize the coverage, because we gotta, if it's a developer doing this, they would try to make as much money as possible, right? So let's try and also match the symmetry. So we'll go 3, and then we'll fill this one out right to here. And that seems pretty symmetrical to me. And then we'll fill this all out. Is that getting a bit too close? Yeah, it is. And then same thing right to here. And then now we're down on a hill, so I don't think we'll go any farther than that. And then on this side, let's see how it looks after we've smoothed it out. Yeah, I think we'll just stay at the same spot. And we'll leave this blank. Okay, so we are using an iron fence on this side to demarcate lots. So let's do the same thing as well on this side. Awesome. Okay, so we got this all fenced off like a good suburb. But now let's take the highway here and let's add some sound barriers, the highway entrance, because that's definitely something that the city would have invested in if our developer would have, asked the city at least to do if they were to be building here. So, this is a lot of residential. So I think what we should do is put a park in the middle of it. Now it's, a developer would do this. Oftentimes you'd see it with like a retention pond attached to it, but I think we have just a good opportunity here to just fit in something really basic right in the middle here. So let's just try and minimize the damage to any lots. And it's just like a gathering place for the community, something real simple. I think that's all we need in this whole area. That'll also really boost the land value. And then now we can also re-add in our trees in here, which really kind of hide the fact. Ooh, make sure prop and tree anarchy is off. It'll hide the fact that, you know, it's not exactly the cleanest of fence work, to be honest. And it also hides the property lines, so we don't need to do the property lines on the entire thing. But I guess we'll wait until all the houses come in. Okay, so there we go. We got the first residential development in. Now we have this lot here. So what are we going to do with this lot? Well, you know, it's forested. I think maybe we could do a bit of a better job at demarcating the property line by getting it a bit closer to the highway here, or the roads. All right, so this is a pretty large one. Now, oftentimes what you'll see is farmers. Oh, water. Okay, so oftentimes you'll see farmers sell off little bits of their land, like a little portion of it. And usually, you know, they do that when, you know, there's a crop failure and, you know, they gotta make ends meet. So unfortunately, they see the need to sell part of their land. So I think we have a pretty cool opportunity to do that kind of theme with this, along with keeping this as a regular farm. Also, this is not exactly the most desirable of land, as represented the landfill. So let's try and sell off a bit of land. So I think a developer would have come here and said, you know what, we would like to buy some of that land that you're offering up. Let's see if we can continue the kind of theme of the original town and see if we can connect a nice bit of land here, like that. Hopefully that node kind of became one. It looks like it did. And we'll kind of continue the theme of Brownsville through here. It doesn't exactly make sense on the developer's point to do this. They probably would have turned it like this, but maybe because this is like a bit more of a hill, or maybe less fertile land, maybe the homeowner actually lives over on this side. They figured that it would be best to sell that little corner. Plus, who wants to farm right along this main intersection, right? So that's a bit of a better area to farm. So let's continue the same style as this previous town, which is always something good to do when you're building, is to continue themes that you've already established. And okay, so let's fill this in. Let's also make sure that zoning is only on roads that we want zoning on. So that excludes this. I'm not particularly keen on housing right off of here, but you know, I think we might actually need it. No housing there for sure. This seems fine, but I'm not going to build on this side of the road at all. Okay, so let's honestly just kind of fill it in here. Awesome. Okay, so again, I don't think we're gonna do a school or anything like that. I feel like this is much more suburb drive oriented, built up maybe in like the 80s or 70s or something like that. So I think we also need to make sure that the district is in play. Very good. So this is really coming along. I think it's really extended Brownsville out to be a bit more of a unique town. And let's check the land value, for example. Okay, so we got some really good land value over here. It's sort of bleeding out onto here. It's not that great over on this side. So let's maybe look at the services in this town. So, healthcare. Is there healthcare? There is healthcare. I think we're good. Fire. Is there fire? So there's fire over here. There's not fire over here. There is fire protection in the landfill or the waste management area, but I don't think this is a area where a fire station would really go. However, I do think that maybe we could put a fire station in this kind of area. So let's plop this down right in here, and then we'll grab it and we'll just move it right into this corner. There we go. That actually looks pretty proper. So we'll do that, and that will really help. Police, we have police coverage. We're good. Like I said, schools, we have one elementary school in here and it's full. So maybe we can get one more elementary school because we did this extra extension. And why don't we put that elementary school right in here? We'll make this strange lot into the elementary school area. So let's remove the housing from this zone. And then why don't we actually change this up a little bit from what we originally had it. And then we'll put a bit of commercial in here. Let's remove that. Okay, so elementary school. I think we just need the very basic, classic elementary school, and it's going to go right here. Actually, it's going to go right here. Yep, just like that. And then what we'll do is we'll use the farm fence, or the forestry fence, my apologies. Forestry fence, because I find that the forestry fence is the best, like, fence for a school. Okay, well, you know, little teeny kids, you know, baseball diamond, you often see that, don't you? So let's just add a few more trees in here, just like that. And then water, of course. I forgot water for the second time in today's video. Okay, so there we go. Just a little fence to help people walk around the town. And there we go. So, you know, we've translated the fact that there's these farms that have been redeveloped. But, you know, we haven't even really done any of the farms. Why did we do this first? Well, it's because we needed the residential to come in first so that they can grow, they can level up, we can get that residential demand back. So farms. You know, the great thing about farms is they take up a lot of space in your city. They really help fill out the theme of a city, and they really help to kind of tell a story of the area. So where would the original farmhouse be? Well, this is a farming town over here. This was probably one of the original towns in the whole area. And then we have a really busy cargo train station, but which this is going to come into play relatively soon in another episode. So this is a pretty main kind of road here. So I feel like the person who used to own this farm way back in the day would have established their farm along this road here because it would have been easy to get their grain or crops to market. And we're also just going to upgrade this road here to something really basic. Nothing fancy, nothing really, but I want to make sure that it's a bit more of a established road than what we currently have. So I think I'll go with the two-way road, no parking, or two-lane road, no parking. But I'm going to turn up the speed. Okay, so it's a bit more of a paved road. It works great. I actually just realized that we probably should have made sure that this road as well was 80 all the way, and then this one was the same speed limit, 50. I think that's gonna be fine. Let's make this one 80, and then we'll put this one 80 all the way through. Let's actually up this to 60 since there's no houses actually on it. Oh yeah, these ones are 60 as well. Okay, well, perfect. Yeah, I really like how this looks. It really expanded Brownsville into being a bit more of a thing. So let's make this house right off of here. So let's say we'll use the dirt road for their driveway. That kind of makes sense. You definitely see that a lot, especially with these farms that are close to downtown cores, cities. And let's get it, doesn't really matter where it is, because at the end of the day, we're just going to not do too much with this area. There we go. So I'll bring their driveway up like this, and then over, like that maybe. That's pretty cool. And then let's grab a house. Let's put it 3 by 3, and then let's select the house. So give me a second here while I go through here, and we'll go into find it 3 by 3, and I'll just select a good farmhouse. That didn't take too long. This one was pretty cool. The beach residence. So we'll call it the beach farm. So let's grab a park. And you know what? If you want a farm named after you, because we're going to do a bunch really quickly, let me know in the comments. So we got the beach farm. And look at that. It's even got an apple tree. So let's make sure that we do apple trees in this area. Hopefully, it's level 4 house. So we might end up losing this. But let's try and not do that. So let's start off with the nature reserve fence. And why the nature reserve fence? Well, you know, it really looks like a property line fence. And let's see. So they probably would have actually had their land bought up like this, because straight lines are definitely a surveyor's friend. And they didn't sell the rights onto this side of the road, or the developer that built this, whether or not it was the municipality that did the road planning or a developer themselves. I think it makes sense for them to have try to maximize the space, thinking that in the future maybe we'll buy up more of the beach farm, and then we'll be able to continue the style of Brownsville even further. So we got the beach house. Hopefully it stays. I'm really hoping it does. Okay, so what do they do? What is the beach farm? Well, like we said, it might be an orchard. So let's go into here. I think we can find the tree. We can, the apple tree. So they farm apples. Why not? I actually don't know if apple farming is much of a thing in Alberta. I assume it would be. So we'll say that they have an orchard, and we'll have it run like this. Okay, so this whole time the beach house was had that marker that said that there wasn't enough land value. We just got it up. Maybe the trees really helped out. I don't know. So what else can go in this house? Well, I was thinking what kind of buildings would go nice in here that would help boost the land value or look good thematically. So I'm thinking you know, we could have like a little campfire over here. Maybe they like to have campfires. I mean, who doesn't? Interesting little area there, though. But that's a cool little kind of outhouse for the area, or for the family. And you know what? Let's get some picnic tables for this family as well. Okay, so let's kind of demarcate a few more things here. One, I think we need to extend this road out to here, and then we'll run this one down to here-ish. And now we need to go into the Industries DLC. Now, I said we were building non-Industries DLC buildings or farms, but oh, no. Let's make sure this is all off. Hopefully that didn't ruin anything. Please stay. You know, I think it would be really unique if we got like, and this one especially because we're turning this one into an orchard. Well, they would definitely need buildings for processing, you know, the apples and whatnot, right? So that makes sense. So let's bring this out a bit further and let's have like a bit of a processing area. And, you know, it would definitely be farther away from the house. So this one is not in the industry area, so let's just steal the industry area from another area. Okay, so we'll do this, and now let's add in some of those buildings. So I like this one, which is the farm maintenance building, because I think it looks just absolutely perfect for what we're looking for. Awesome. Okay, so let's add some distressed nature to this terrain here, and I think we can do that with the ore industry texture. There we go. That looks a bit distressed, doesn't it? And then I'm sure we could make it seem a bit more walked through as well. So why don't we do this with some paths? So there is the beach farm. They got an outhouse over here. When I say that, I don't mean like an outhouse, but like a house that's not theirs. I believe that's a term that people use. Yeah, and then we got this nice, beautiful farmhouse for them. I mean, that looks really nice. And, you know, they're having a party, apparently. Probably because they're having a campfire. Okay, so that's one farm. Let's move on to the next one. And let's move just north in here. So we have some trees in the middle here. So I think what we'll do is we'll just get rid of these trees. And this one's going to be a completely different style of farm. This one is going to be a ranch. And why a ranch? Well, you know, it's Alberta. When I think of Alberta, I often think of ranches. And we're, yeah, okay, so let's go with this one. Let's actually just downgrade it back to here. And we'll make this one just a classic country road. There's nothing else to it. It's pretty flat, but it goes downhill a little bit towards the landfill. So let's say that the farmer probably would have built their property on this one, especially because this is a main road. So is this one. But yeah, let's put their house over here. And they haven't sold any of their land. That's going to be the story of this one. So let's bring this one out like this. And this style of house is going to be a bit more gritty, I would say. Go with the 3x3 again. And let's select that house. Nah, I fell in love with this house. This house is really cool. So let's just let this one come in. The Oriental Residence. So we'll make this one, we'll definitely make this one someone's house. So if you like this house, this property, if you want to become a cattle rancher, like on Yellowstone, but probably without a lot of the killing and stuff, but you want to live the cowboy lifestyle, let me know in the comments, and this beautiful greenhouse will be yours. So we will call this, we'll just leave it NA for now. Whoop. And yeah, look at this beautiful house. So let's make this one extra special then, right? So first of all, like with all of them, let's get that nature reserve fence and let's fence off the whole property. Awesome. Okay, so let's level out this terrain a little bit. I see a little bit of bumpage, so let's remove that. Very good. Very good. So now that we've got this in play, let's continue this road a little bit. Okay, so we grab move it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this into being a dirt road from this point on. And this one's going to come right back into here, like that. And then we're going to make this cattle ranch in. So how do we kind of show that off, right? Well, let's make a couple different pastures with fences. So, you know, they rotate them around a little bit. So we'll go with the farm fence. And then right around here, let's bring this one right across. Like that. There we go. And then roughly right in the middle again. Right down. And in like that. And there's definitely gates in here. I'm not going to show those gates. But let's bring this one out to about right there. And we'll bring this one right down into here. And then let's... Yeah, I think that's actually good. So this will kind of show that you can drive your car into the different fields. Okay, so what else do we need in this area? Well, not much, to be honest, except for like the barns and stuff like that, the cattle sheds. So unfortunately, I think the best option in that case would probably be to use an Industries DLC area building, like the cattle shed and stuff like that. But we're trying to not do this. So what could we use instead? And you know what? Perhaps the fact that I mentioned like it's a non-Industries DLC. Well, we're not trying to build like the farms in total, but we're trying to keep these larger themes alive, because I'm thinking the grain silo makes too much sense to have in here, right? Because you gotta feed the cattle, and it's good to feed them grain, I guess. I don't know, but we don't need a milking parlor, but maybe we do need one other thing. Okay, so we're not building here I'm revising the theme of this build at the same time as we're doing it. We're not building an Industries DLC farm, but we're going to use the assets. Hopefully that's okay with you all. Okay, so let's get the cattle shed. Place this one over here. And this is where they'll come if they're, if we need to use the trucks or anything like that. Or maybe if they're injured or something like that, they need some help. You can bring them into here. How do you winter them? That I don't know. I don't know how they winter cattle. Because I would suppose we need a bit of a larger building for this, but hey, maybe they just have a lot of land and they want to make sure that the cattle can use it all. So now let's add in some trees back. So this is where the trees were originally, so I just want to add in a bit more. It's good to have trees in your pastures, from what I've seen, mainly because it provides some shade. It adds a bit of, I guess, realistic features. And there we go. Okay. Very cool. Very simple. Very straightforward. But since this is definitely going to be a farm named after one of you, let me know if you want to add anything into this area. It's a pretty open canvas still, but I'm pretty pleased with it. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is we're going to work over here, right beside the landfill. Uh-oh. Not exactly the nicest pieces of land, is it? So, let's think. So, the farmer originally had this land. It was originally a bit of a smaller dump. It really started growing. What could we do with it? Well, the farmer definitely saw the potential in selling this to someone, because they didn't want to live beside a dump. Who would? Maybe they got a bit of an incentive from some green energy programs. And why don't we say that this has become a solar farm. So, you know, it's not an Industries DLC farm. It's something else. It's a solar farm. So let's clear out these trees. All right, so we already actually have this fenced off, but I'm just going to remove... Whoa, holy cow, I'm lagging out a little bit. Just going to remove an area right there, and then I'm also going to remove one right here. So, I'm saying that the farmer sold this land, but they didn't sell the land that was actually their house. So let's continue the kind of same ideas here. So what we'll do is we'll run a road up like this, and then we'll run this one over on a nice simple 90-degree angle. And let's actually just continue this over a bit further. There we go. And then we'll get this house in, and we'll continue with the 3x3 houses. So let's choose their house. There we go. So the spruce residence. You know what? I don't particularly like it, but let's go for it. So if you think of a name for the spruce farm, let me know. And then I'll also make sure that we have the park labeled over here for your farm. Okay, so the spruce farm, let's let it come in, and let's quickly change a few things up here. Let's just continue this property line fence out to here. And what needs to go in this farm? Well, honestly, I'm trying to just blow through this one a little bit because there's a bit more to do with the rest of this build. So let's add it in a couple of trees. All right, so the spruce farm isn't doing too good, but you know what? They sold the land to a developer, and they saw some potential in some green energy, maybe from the government, and they built a solar farm. So there we go. Now let's have kind of the main buildings set up. So let's... Also, it's convenient because I see the power keep fluctuating. I see that the power keeps fluctuating. That's what I should have said. So you come through here, right through the security gate, and we have the main office building. And what should the main office building be? Well, like we've already used with our landfill build, these buildings make for fantastic municipal service office buildings. It says road maintenance on it, but it doesn't have to mean that it actually is road maintenance, right? We're playing a game where we're making up the story as we go along, so why can't we make up a little bit more? So what do we need really? We have parking that might be enough for all the employees that we need or that we are expecting. But are there any other buildings that we could add in here to kind of help translate the theme? Let me just give a quick little think. Okay, so I think I found the only buildings that we really need in the Disasters DLC. Makes sense. So let's just kind of level up the terrain, and we'll kind of create a bit more of this little hub here. But otherwise, I don't think we need any more buildings other than the solar farm that we're actually using. So let's move this guy. So this is the earthquake sensor, but they look like... I don't know how that happened. Did I double click them in? Looks like there's a bunch of them. There's 3 of them. Okay. So they look like Transformers. Not the robot, but they look like electrical Transformers. Sorry, Autobots. And yeah, so this one looks good right here. Weather station. No, let's bring it back a little bit farther. So let's put this one on an industrial road as well. Bring it back. This one, let's rotate it. Let's actually keep it on the same side. Awesome. So why weather station? Well, it's a solar farm. That's what we're doing. I guess it would make sense to do something like that, right? So we're gonna run with some rural roads, some classic dirt roads for the rest of it. So we'll upgrade this. There we go. And then we'll upgrade this to dirt roads. Actually, this one can be industry road. Okay, so then this transformer here, let's put this one right in this little pocket. There we go. And the other two will just move slightly for now. So how many solar panels do we need? Well, you know, I was actually thinking that this could actually be a pretty major source of power for the city. So we could get a few of them in. I think what we need is to figure out the size of them. So right there. And then what I'll do is I'll run the road. Awesome. Okay, you know what? I like this. I think I need to move these three over a bit. But I think all we need to do is really just kind of fill in these areas with dirt. Just the areas, just the small areas in between them. I think this actually turned into quite the good-looking solar farm. You know, they're not just entirely placed together, which is nice. They got a bit of features to it, though. You know, I think like a more modern solar farm. This one looks like one that you'd see out in the desert, from what I understand. But a bit more of like a modern solar farm would just be like rows upon rows of solar panels, not kind of reflecting into a middle feature. But if we go into the BOB mod, and we just remove the trees and stuff, because they would have 100% made sure that there is zero potential for shade, which is why I actually elevated everything to the same level, because from what I understand is they will not, no matter what, at any cost, allow anything to disrupt the look of this, or sun getting from the area. So I know there's trees on this side, which I'm okay with, because they're actually like at level with the area. But there we go. We also got a, for some reason this moved. We also got a weather station in here and stuff like that. And I think we can add in the trees back in here. I don't think that particularly matters in this zone. But yeah, there we go. Little solar farm action. There we go. That's pretty neat. And let's do one more. So we're not going to get to the town. I didn't think we would, but I guess New Bold's Corner, that is. But I want to make sure that this gets done properly and this gets done well. So let's do one more farm here, folks, and it's this one. And this one is also going to be a ranch. Holly Meadows, right across the street from the other one that we were talking about, the viewer named one. So this one will also be a viewer named farm. I guess they all are, because I think I asked about the beach farm as well. So this one is also going to be a ranch style farm. Now, why are we doing this one again as a ranch style farm? Well, because they look fantastic and they're very common in Alberta. This one we're going to have the main area come off of here, or the main building. And yeah, we're going to do something a bit different with this one. So let's have the main house right here, right off the middle here, paved road. Why not? Oh, I thought I said paved road. There we go. And then this one's going to come off on a bit of an angle as well, like we previously had it. And yeah, so this one is going to be another little simple house. Same style. Let's choose it. How about this one? And the Glade residence, but it doesn't matter. This one's going to be a viewer suggested one. Okay, so this is the main house. Pretty simple, straightforward. But I wanted to make sure we got another little development going. But I think with this one, I think it would be neat if we had it as like a really small development of land. Maybe we can put it right down in here. So it could just be like a one street kind of thing. Yeah, I think we only need this one connection. Yeah, let's do that. So let's remove zoning off of these roads here. And then basically, I just want to make sure that we have, at the end of this video, we have really added to the residential capacity of Brownsville. And I can definitely see them doing this, but would it be the most desirable land to live in? Probably not, because, you know, cattle. So let's say that this one is a bit more, the farmer knew this when they sold this land. They, you know, getting chipped away a little bit. So why don't we make sure that they maybe get an upgraded fence out of the deal? So we'll go with the farm fence. Fantastic. So, you know, just really simple stuff like that can go a long way. There we go. I don't think we need it there, but maybe we need it here. All right, so hopefully that gets zoned in. I think that's going to look real nice. But let's make sure that we have this farm set up the way that we're looking for. So let's grab a dirt road. Yeah, that looks cool. And then we need an area for them in the winter, right? That was the thought behind the cattle shed, of getting the cattle shed kind of in place. Okay, this one's going to be a bit bigger, and I think what we can do is we can do a bit of like a hybrid situation with this one. So I really like the idea. Oh no, why are they all here? Not looking forward to that. So let's get some trees in here, and then we'll get some fruit trees maybe. Maybe we'll get some of those apples again. Okay, very nice. And I'm definitely going to lose this house. So I think maybe if we're really far out of the way, right? So if we just add in a basic park, it should really help boost the land value. So we got the dog park. Let's put the dog park right over here. Hopefully that helps boost the value just enough. We might need to change the house type. Okay, so then now let's get some apple trees again. But isn't there other types of trees? Like, is there like pear tree or something like that? Fruit. There is a pear tree. Okay, very cool. So let's do this really quickly. I'll do this one in a speed through. All right, so this farm has got everything. It's pretty cool, right? I think we need to help try to raise the land value a little bit of this house, or change the house up. And I think the best solution is probably just to change the house. So let's do that. There we go. And then let's run some dirt paths around, and that'll help give the idea that this people can come here and visit and stuff like that. Just like that, and maybe they park their cars over here if they come to check out pears. So let's add in a spattering of trees around the house. It's probably a bit too thick. And then we need to drive the cattle in here somehow, right? So I'm sure that they would probably come from this side, right, of the farm fence. So let's select it. Quick move it. There we go. Okay, so we got another cool little farm here. And then let's add in some trees down in here to help, you know, protect these houses, because these houses are pretty close to a cattle farm, and that's interesting. So hopefully houses actually grow here. I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest, that there hasn't, but I guess the land value of this area is not exactly the greatest. Maybe just need to make sure that the roads are proper. And then we need to name this farm too. So you have some work. You got some homework. I would like it if you could name these 3 farms at least, and maybe the solar farm as well. Maybe we can give it actually a whole new name. So we got the Spruce Farm, but what if we name it over here, and we name it the since the town nearby is called Corning, we'll call it Corning Solar Limited. There we go. And fantastic, folks. So there we go. We added to Brownsville. We added some farms, and we're gonna definitely continue this theme into this side, especially once we reach into Newbold's Corner, which is coming up soon. So what's in store for next week? You know, I'm not too sure yet, but it's going to be the start of a major project. It's a normal week next week, so we'll see what it is. There's a lot of potential possibilities, whether it be suburban expansion, whether it be you know, expanding in the downtown core, or maybe we even think about starting the airport, or the oil industry as well. I would love to get that going as soon as possible. So yeah, you know, I'll give it a think. You give it a think, and let me know in the comments what you think. Have a wonderful day, folks. We'll talk to you soon. Peace out.